What if I told you, there was a time on Earth, when giants walked among men? Not myths. Not legends. But beings so powerful, so unnatural, that God himself had to wipe the earth clean. Who were they? Where did they come from? And the most terrifying question of all, are they truly gone? The story begins in Genesis 6:1-4, a passage many people read, but few truly understand. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, and took them as wives. But who were these sons of God? They were not ordinary men. They were not kings. They were not rulers. They were fallen angels, beings that once stood in heaven, now rebelling against God's order. And what they did next, was something never meant to happen. They crossed the boundary between heaven and earth. They took human women, and from that union, the Nephilim were born. The Bible describes them as, the mighty men of old, men of renown. But don't be fooled by that phrase. These were not heroes. These were not legends to admire. These were giants. Massive. Powerful. Terrifying. Imagine standing before a being, twice, or even 3 times your size. A creature with unnatural strength, unnatural hunger, and possibly, unnatural intelligence. Ancient texts outside the Bible even suggest, they were violent, corrupt, and consumed everything in their path. Including, humans. The earth became filled with something dark. Not just sin, but corruption at a genetic level. Humanity itself, was being altered. And God saw it. Every imagination of the thoughts of man's heart was only evil continually. This wasn't just about people doing wrong things. This was about the destruction of God's creation. The Nephilim were not just giants, they were a corruption of humanity's original design. So God made a decision, a terrifying one. He would reset the world. Most people think the flood was just punishment. But it was more than that. It was cleansing. God preserved one man, Noah. Why Noah? Because the Bible says he was perfect in his generations. Meaning, his bloodline had not been corrupted. So while the Nephilim ruled the earth, Noah built an ark. And when the flood came, everything changed. The giants were wiped out. Their influence, destroyed. Or was it? After the flood, something strange happens. The Bible still mentions giants. Goliath. The Anakim. The Rephaim. How is that possible? Did some survive? Or did it happen again? Some believe. The same fallen angels returned, repeating the same forbidden act. If that's true, then the Nephilim were never just a past problem. They were a pattern. Here's the part most people don't talk about. The Nephilim story is not just history. It is a warning. A warning about crossing boundaries. That should never be crossed. A warning about corruption. That looks powerful, but leads to destruction. And a reminder. That not everything supernatural comes from God. So the next time you hear the word giants, don't think of fairy tales. Think of something far more real. Something far more dangerous. And ask yourself, if they existed before, what's stopping them from returning again? Subscribe, if you want the truth they don't tell you.